Okay, so here's your chapter 2 review warm-up. So you can get this off of your laptop and work on it there, or you can, if your laptop's not working, you can just look up here and do the problems on another sheet of paper. So go ahead and pause this and take about 10 minutes to work on this. Okay, so on the next one, or on the first one, find the next term in the sequence, then write a conjecture to describe the pattern. So then hopefully you saw that this was subtracting 3 each time. So then we just need the next term, so minus 3, got -4, so that would be worth 1 point on the test. And then your conjecture, remember, it was kind of a template of what you need to say. So we would say subtract 3 from the previous term to get the next term. Because remember, in geometry, you have to be super specific about what you're doing to the previous term and what that gets you as the next term. So then that's your second point. So that'll be worth 2 points on the test. All right, so now we're doing our statement. So that was section 2.2. So reminding they gave us the conditional, if 3x plus 5 equals 2, then x equals -1. So the converse, remember you switch the hypothesis and the conclusion. If x equals -1, then 3x plus 5 equals 2. Inverse, you go back to the original and negate them. So the negation of equal to is not equal. Right at this. If 3x plus 5 is equal to 2, then x is not equal to -1. And the contrapositive is when you switch and negate, or you can look at the converse because it's already switched and then just negate that. So if x does not equal -1, then 3x plus 5 does not equal 2. Okay, so make sure you know how to form those sentences. So that's section 2.2. 2.3 was the different laws. So there was law of detachment, which is here, and law of syllogism, where you cross out the stuff that's alike and then write what's left over. So then on this one, law of detachment, if a person works at a school, then he or she is a government employee. Jonathan works at Parkdale High School. So the school, if a person works at a high school, so that matches or that satisfies the if part. So then your conclusion needs to say Jonathan is a government employee. So then you just have to, you take the then part, that is your conclusion, and then we just, instead of saying he or she is a government employee, you have to say who specifically that was, and it was Jonathan this time. Okay. Number 4 was from section 2.5, where you're setting up a 2-column proof for that. Let me get a blank one, so this is for number 4. So then make sure you have the format. You should have statements, reasons, and then you're going to number each of these, however many steps it takes us, etc. Our number 1 statement should be given, so 50 equals 2 times the quantity x plus 5. And then our number 1 reason is always given. You have to start there. And then remember with the equations, you know you're finished when you have your proof, which is x equals 25. And notice we want x on the left side. All right, so then one thing you could do, you could distribute first. So then you get this. So then that was distribute property. Then we could subtract 10. So that would leave me 40 equals 2x. Oh, I think our answer is going to be wrong. That should be x equals 20. Hopefully you caught that. So minus 10 gives me this, and that was subtraction property. Then number 4, I could divide by 2. So division property. And then remember, we always want x on the left side. So we can do that by okay. Now, some of you might have divided off the 2 first and got 25 equals x plus 5, so you would have had division property for your second step. Then you would have subtracted off the 10 and still gotten the, or I'm sorry, subtracted 5 because you would have had 50. So if you just divided, you would have had 50 equals x plus 5, and this would be division property. So this is an alternate way you could have done it. And then subtracted the 5 and gotten 20 equals x. So that could have been your third step, which would have been subtraction property. So that would have been the same for that step. And then you would have switched it around and gotten x 20, which would have been symmetric property. So it is possible you could have done this in 4 steps instead of 5. But like I said, on the test, it just depends. As long as you tell me where you got everything and what your statements are and it's valid, you'll be fine, whichever you did. Okay. And then on the last one, number 5, find the value of each variable. So we've got 2 variables. We want to focus on the one with the same variable, the angles with the same variable. And so that would be these 2 angles. Hopefully you realize those were vertical angles, and vertical angles are congruent. So since they're congruent, they have the same measure, and in math, same means equal. So 3x minus 5 has to equal x plus 25. So I'll minus that. So 2x minus 5 equals 20. 2x equals 20. Oops, I'm sorry, that should be 30 because you're adding 5 to 25. And so then divide by 2, let me erase that. So that should be add 5 is or no, I'm sorry, I was ahead of step. That should still be 25, add there, the 30 goes here. So then x equals, there's 1 answer. So this is 2 points so far. And then the third one, y doesn't have a special partner, so you could plug in the x here and find this angle and do a linear pair. Or you could plug in x here, figure out what this angle is, and then set that equal to that. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do. I'm going to plug in the x here, so that'll be 15 plus 25, which will be 40. And so then I would do 3y minus 10 plus 40 equals 180, because I've got a linear pair here. Linear pairs are supplementary. So 3y plus 30 equals 80. So minus that, 3y equals 150. So y would be 3 goes with 50. So I'm going to double check my work. So if I plug in the 50 there, 3 times 50 is 150, minus 10 is 140, which, yep, that's what it should be since this is a linear pair. And they have to add up to 180. Okay. There will be a fill in the blank proof, but we spent a good time yesterday doing proofs and reviewing all of that. You won't be given any of the properties or anything on the test. So you'll just be able to have your pencil and your calculator. And then once you're finished, you'll turn that into the teacher, and then the teacher will give you the assignment that'll be due on Monday. Okay? All right, good luck on your test, and make sure you read all the directions and answer the question that is before you for each problem. Okay?